The journey of 1,000 miles starts with one step, taking things one after the other. There must be a resolve to take care of the people first in any democratic setting. Now, with its people-oriented and people-impacting programs, the Labour Party candidate Olumide Akpata in Edo State, September 21, 2024, is all about Edo State in preparation for the forthcoming gubernatorial elections in Edo State, come the dates which I just mentioned earlier. Now, on Viewpoint, where we discover perspectives and embrace dialogue, we zero in on the words of the Labour Party, which they say, we don't wait for the people to come to us. We go to the people to sell our ideas and our manifesto. With the Labour Party Chairman, Edo State Chapter, Honorable Kelly. Join us in the next phase of the show, while he will be disseminating the ups and downs concerning the happenings concerning the Labour Party campaign. But before you do that, you do want to subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us across social media platforms. Join us in the next phase of the show. You're welcome back to the show. The show is Viewpoints, where we discover perspectives and embrace dialogue. I have with me Labour Party Chairman of the Edo State Chapter, Honorable Kelly. Honorable Kelly, you're welcome to the show.
It is my pleasure to be here. Thank you so very much.
Yeah, earlier on we spoke on the phone and you made me understand that the campaign was going on earlier on. So in your own words, how is the Labour Party campaign gearing up towards the upcoming Guba?
Well, very perfectly. We are on J, and no stone is left unturned. And of course, Labour Party is the only party that is campaigning correctly. Should take a vivid analysis of the campaign processes. I can assure you that Labour Party is there and will continue to be there.
Okay, that's nice to hear. Now, as an astute frontliner of the Labour Party within Edo State, could you tell us, in your own words, the persona you will find or define Akpata to be as a Labour Party flag bearer?
Akpata is a man that will be beating this election. He is a capacity candidate, and Labour Party is very fortunate to have him in the fore to drive the process of this election and have a winner for the people that is there. So I can tell you what it possesses, what it takes, to compete and win an election.
Okay, it therefore means that he's going to compete on a healthy note. Now, might I ask, not to deviate, now Akpata, a former president of the NBA, the Nigerian Bar Association, and Aswe, chief economic advisor to Godwin Obaseki, who is actually the current governor. They are both professional colleagues in commercial law practice and also leading members of the NBA section of the business law. What does contesting against each other mean as regards both of them coming from the same walks of life? Do you see it as them operating as professional colleagues instead of acting like the mediocre politicians we always have in the norm?
Well, to contest elections and to act as such is a determination of the individual. So you don't bring the attachment of what they were in the business world and their personal relationship into contest. They may be seeing development of the state, the government of the state from different perspectives, different from what would have been the business world as it were. So for me, I think they are professionals and they will individually display professionalism in different contexts as politics is fine.
Okay, that's fine. Okay, moving on. The party leader and flag bearer in the 2023 presidential elections, Peter Obi, was in Edo State with 7 members of the National Working Committee of the party. Now, how involved is the national body of the Labour Party in Edo State? I asked this question why, because there have been, sorry to cut you short there, sir. I asked this question why, because there have been rumors making around that there will be some federal might or influence on the part of the APC to influence the elections. That's what I'm asking, sir.
Well, first of all, if Obi, like you mentioned, was in the States to be with Labour Party and our candidate, it means the national presence already. Okay. And so we cannot give it a different definition. But whether or not APC will be federal mind, that is another ball game altogether. But I don't know what federal mind is in terms of playing politics and contest in Edo State. It's a state that contests the election. So, but however, we will be watching whether they will bring more meaning to what they meant by federal mind. And so we are waiting. But we will deal with it. We will deal with it. For us, we will not be scared with any statement of such that federal minds and all of that. I don't know what that really means. What are they going to turn those states to a military barrack? I don't get that. But however, we are ready to do this contest, and wherever anybody goes, we are ready to go there.
Okay, okay. You've come from the aspect of playing a clean game, as you said earlier in the first phase of the show. Now, in my own opinion, I could say that a lingering problem in Nigerian politics in particular is that the people have always been taken out of the political equation. Nobody actually thinks about the people anymore, because it's a situation whereby when people get into power after campaigning, they forget about the people. But according to the classic definition of democracy, we hear the word people mentioned 3 times. 3 times in particular here, where they say government of the people, by the people, and for the people. Now, with the Labour Party people-oriented ideology, I say this why? Because of this Mama, Papa, Pikin mantra, which has actually been spoken particularly by Olumide Akpata. Could you underscore the principal place the people occupy in governance and democracy?
Of course, we have said that everywhere, and that our pains is that government has been taken away from the people. And that is what Labour Party and his candidate, the Barrister Olumide Akpata, intend to restore. And it is the disrespect we have vehemently, we have shouted ourselves wholeheartedly in the campaign, to make this sink into the memories of every one of us, that government had left us over the period of time, instead of the government being with us. And that Labour Party and his candidate is intention, his objective really is to ensure that this government is brought back to the people. And if you check the context of our campaign, that has the uppermost in the words that have been spoken in the campaign ground. For us, we want to make sure that everybody has the government at his disposal. And that is why originally, on the creation of this Labour Party, we looked at the prosperity of the father, the mother, and the child as a basis for which governance will be better for the people of this country. Because if you do not derive it from that perspective, what you will have is what is still happening in the government that will be provided for us by the PDP and the APC. We are tired of that. We no longer want that to continue to happen. Go and check the scorecards of this political party, and you find that it's an entire zero in all of the things that would have been required by the people of this country. In other words, therefore, supporting the fact and the claim that government has been taken away from the people. As I speak with you, we are still suffering from security in this country, and which ought to be uppermost requirement on the part of what government will do. Because the Constitution is clear on this, that upon accession of office of any government, the security of the property and the people themselves within the sovereignty they govern should be one of the functions that must be ensured is given to them. Today, that is not there. And that is not there. And so Labour Party will be looking at it. We are aware that our farmers can no longer go to the farmland in fear of certain persons they refer to as herdsmen or whatever name they are given. But what I confirm is that there are no security for these people to go to their farms and come back home safe. And so why is this happening? Why has the past government, why has the government we have currently failed to have the political will to deal with this? Why? Is it that the machinery to deal with it are not present with them? If you ask me, I say they have the machinery to do this. But what they lack is the political will to do it. And that is what the Labour Party want to do. Yes, rearing the cows and the cattle is a business. We don't ask you not to do it. But you must not allow that to interfere with the business of the other person to the extent of putting their lives in danger. So Labour Party is going to change all of this. We don't have lights. We don't have hospitals. How do you explain that in the place where hospitals are supposed to be situated in this country, a museum is now taken to that place? Is it possible? Is it possible? Yes, museums are good institutions as well, but it gets to a point where you want to have it. In this country, have you been fed? Have you had your food ready in the morning? We wake up as it were. You do not know where the next meal will come from. And then you take away what should benefit the people first to make life. And you put there certain institutions that are not immediately profitable to the people. Yes, people will go to museum, you will pay for it, you will make money for the state. Yes, we agree, but the common man is not immediately associated with the benefit of that. It is only when people are settled, it is only when you have the common benefit, dividends of democracy, that you will be relaxed to visit institutions of sight like the museum. So what we are saying is that the determination of Olumide Akpata, the determination of Labour Party is to ensure government is returned to the people. We can't take it away from them. It is for the people, it must be by the people, and the people must thrive it.
Politics is intolerant prevalently here in our own part of the world, here in Nigeria. But politics actually should be a contestation of ideas, and the best of ideas must actually prevail, like you had said earlier on in the initial phase of the show. Now, however, people don't have the humility to accept defeat, and it becomes a do-or-die affair. If you recall, that's why we find these state election petition tribunals, even at the national level, and people keep on wasting resources or assets or funds in court. You will agree it is unfortunate or tragic. Now, for instance, the billboards in Benin City, which were meant for actually the campaign for Akpata, were destroyed because certain people felt threatened that people were buying into the new ideas of the Labour Party. And this idea is the people orientation, which Labour Party is actually selling as a manifesto to the people. Now, could you share some pleasant or unpleasant situations encountered as a result of tolerance or intolerance during the Labour Party campaign?
Well, that is the most crude political attitude anyone could show. And this was predominantly coming from the PDP, like we investigated. And you can just see how crude they have been, their governance. And that is why the state has been so backward. With people we thought had carried what it takes by way of intelligent ability to administer. You see, we regret that they got that office. But the determination of the Labour Party is that they cannot keep the office anymore. We have to come up and take it over, by way of the ballots as it stands today. And now, you see, everybody involved in the campaign or in the political contestation should allow the space, to advertise. You have the law provided for every one of us. And so those people didn't encroach on anywhere. It did not in any way disturb, the other party from also making some advertisement. But for that crude nature, for that belief of the fact that changes that are superior changes have come from the angle of Labour Party and are carried by Olumide Akpata, and therefore we must do something very crude, to change the situation. But are they winning? They are not winning. You can see they are not winning, and they can never win anymore over the people as far as we continue in this contest that we would be getting the summaries in September. Let me make it clear that failure has nowhere to hide. These ones have failed abysmally, and everybody within the confines of the two states understands it. So there's no how much brute force you might bring that will deter the people from deciding their fate come September. So I want to agree with you that it's an entire negativity that they deployed in the way they did. And it was disgraceful that they couldn't even hide it, they couldn't even pretend their defeat that is so millions in September, So that's where we are. And that is the reason Labour Party says the people must be brought back and the government must be brought back to the people. And this is what we want to do.
Okay, it therefore means that coming from this angle, you made mention of crude politics here. So I want to briefly, if you can extensively explain on it concerning this zoning issue, where it's a case of the Edo South have actually been much more predominant in the politics of Edo State as compared to the Edo Central and also the Edo North. What's your take on the zoning issue, sir?
Well, very well. Zoning issue is an attitude of other political parties, the idea of the PDP and APC in the past, or even presently. There has not been one of the policies of Labour Party. And if you look at it, this is the first time prominently Labour Party is coming out with a gubernatorial candidate. So we couldn't be looking at zoning. But the winning, of course, when you say zoning, what are we really talking about? We have seen Edo State as one particular place that when government is entrenched, every sector that belongs to the state must be touched. And so our take is that every sector, whether you be Edo Central, Edo North, Edo South, we all be partakers of the government. The distribution of dividends will be the same everywhere. So, but let me say, yes, zoning may be good, but in the case of Labour Party, we had had no governor anywhere, for which we now historically will say, okay, because we have governor from or government established, and much of the people were coming from this sector. Therefore, we now take to this sector. So, if we hadn't had that history, how can we be looking at asking us if you should do zoning? So, we didn't think that zoning is the first thing we should do in trying to run this process we are in today. We must win election. Practically every political party is looking, at the best angle of it that he could win. So if we test as Labour Party that, doing that, the kind of zoning they wanted, will not make us win election. Why not? We will decide what we will do to enable us win election. But however, no sector, no senatorial district is going to be sidelined. We will ensure that every state of the state is touched by whatever development is coming. Whether you are from Central, you are from South, you are from North, because it is one Edo state. And that is what the government should deal with, not even by the sectors. So there will be equitable distribution of the dividends of democracy when Labour Party is eventually enshrined. And that is why we have said that Edo State will be better when Labour Party has begun to rule via its candidate by Olumide Akpata.
Okay, sir. I love the response you actually gave, because from the explanation, it therefore means that the Labour Party is actually perpetuating an inclusive agenda for the people of Edo State instead of creating a divide or demarcation. Now, on a final note, Honorable.
Exactly.
Yeah, now, okay, thank you very much, sir. Now, on a final note, Honorable, political calculations have to be right, which I believe you agree to. It may not be exact science or rocket science, but with crunched numbers, a win at the polls can be guaranteed. May I ask, how does the Labour Party intend to deal with the incumbency factor? Because Nigeria has had a history nationally, even at the state level and at the local level, of making use of the power of incumbency to influence the affairs of the upcoming elections. How does the Labour Party intend to deal with this incumbency factor?
Well, let us look at this. What do we really mean by incumbency factor? That you are being an incumbent governor means that the people must be turning their head to continue to keep you there when you have not done what is right for the people. Is that what we mean by incumbency factor? For today, we don't see any incumbency because Obaseki is not contesting. It's not asking for any further office. But if it was to be asking for a second tenure, where high stakes are there, we can begin to consider and begin to look at what is the incumbency factor. But right now, it's not contesting the election. So if he thinks that bringing whoever he wants to take over from him is incumbency, then he will be disappointed at the end of the day. This is the point we are making. There's nothing like incumbency factor. You cannot be there permanently. Even if you have done one tenure and you didn't do well, if we are thinking well in our country and in our state, we should throw such person away. And right now, it's the determination of the people of Edo State to throw away Obaseki and his clowns. We are not ready to keep living with them because we want to bring the government to the people. We want to bring development to Edo State. Go and check the scorecards of this government we are talking about, both APC and PDP, and then establish. Tell me, what is their scorecards looking like? Is it in life? Is it in food? Is it in security? Is it in education? Is it in health? Go and look at TECOM and the university that was provided to us by the very distinguished and respected elder statesman Professor Abosali is now in pieces. Nothing is happening there. Are we going to be happy? Are we going to be happy with that? As they begin to talk of incumbency factor, my brother, I let you know, this incumbency factor will be changed and can be changed by the people of Edo State. It is when we agree with that that it continue to thrive. There is nothing like incumbency factor. Nobody should continue to be in the office when he has not been able to satisfy the yearning and aspiration of the people. So for us, we are not looking at any incumbency factor. The office is not permanently made for anybody. If you are there, you think you are incumbent, do what is right. And if you fail to do what is right, we have no option than to take you off it. And this is the determination of the Labour Party.
Okay, thank you very much, Honorable Kelly Ogbaloi. It's been a nice session with you on the show, and I do believe you'll be disposed to creating time from your busy schedule to come on board our show to keep us updated concerning the happenings before the September 21 date of the elections.
I will try so much to be available to you. Thank you very much.
All right, sir. Thanks for joining us on the show. Well, that was Honorable Kelly Ogbaloi of the Labour Party Edo State Chapter. He actually happens to be the chairman of the Labour Party Edo State Chapter. Now, he's been breaking down and giving us insights concerning the Labour Party campaign and manifesto, the agendas, and what they are actually cut out for concerning the people as regards the satisfaction they need to deliver or bring to the table to satisfy the people of Edo State, as opposed to the oppositions, the PDP, the APC, just to mention a few. The show has been Viewpoint, where we discover perspectives and embrace dialogue. You'll do well to follow us across various social media platforms and also subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thanks for watching. I'm Odiawa AI.